First, second, third. With the slipper clutch. Hey guys, what's up? Alright. It's Double News back. Today, we're going to do a video on the hocus pocus of the Tamiya slipper clutch for the HG-P407. Now, being that these transmissions are pretty much identical, except for your shift cogs. Okay. Now, the HG uses a 6-sided hex, okay, for the shift dogs. Alright. Now, if you see here, this ring, I've altered it just a little bit. And I'll tell you why. There's actually, I looked at it, and there's actually two ways you can modify the slipper clutch to fit inside the HG-P407 transmission. One is you can take this gear here, you see the cogs, because Tamiya uses like a cog system. This is their slipper clutch here. But if you see the cogs on there, there's 6 of them. Alright, but there's also 6 sides to your, I guess it would be your idler lock that locks in between the this actually goes inside of the old piece here. Okay, it sits in there and kind of locks it in for the shift dog to slide over it and lock it in 3rd gear. So, like I say, the one of 2 ways I chose the lesser of the 2 evils, because you can grind this gear down. Okay, you can grind this down to make a 6-sided hex out of it. It is a steel gear, but these things are not cheap to buy. These slipper clutch assemblies here from Tamiya, you know, they're like 30 to 50 bucks if you see them. I paid $48 for this one, so because you know they're everybody's wanting them now. However, instead of altering the gear, I looked at this and says, well, you know what, this thing here, if I just take a Dremel tool and Dremel 6 rounded out areas in the shift collar, if I screw it up, I can still work. It'll still work with this here, no matter what. It just has a little extra space in it. And to buy the shift collar, I haven't really seen them separately, but I know you can buy the whole gear assembly with 2 shift collars for like 28 bucks. Okay, and a lot of them are free shipping. So the $28, you get 2 extra parts if you wanted to take it back to original, and you have extra gears too. Versus the, you know, the $48, you know, alteration of this here. I chose to do this because if push comes to shove, I can always turn it around. Now, if you see in there, see those little tiny little, I guess they're like little recessed areas in there where they showed a machine here. Okay, see them right there? That's what I started with. And I just took a Dremel with an 1/8 inch Dremel tool, and I just, on them recesses, I just carved them down flat the length of the depth of this gear right here, because these here have a deep side and a shallow side. If you see it there, there's a deep and a shallow to help it shift into gear. Okay, now when I put this all together, okay, after I had altered the gear, it goes right on. It slides right on like butter. And you can see, you know, if it doesn't go on far enough, maybe you know, get your Dremel tool out and give it a little bit more of a, you know, and it locks it in so it ain't going anywhere. So now, for the guys that, if you've seen my last video, how to make it full-time four-wheel drive with this pinion gear here and locking it in now, everybody was concerned it was going to be a lot of extra strain on the transmission, and they wanted a slipper clutch. Now, too bad somebody hasn't come out with a slipper clutch for the spur gear, because that would be ideal. It would be probably pretty simple to come up with if you could get somebody to manufacture one. But for now, we're back down to the seat of the pants, making things work. So, take a Dremel tool, just bore out 6 round areas, and I'll show you the tool that I used on my Dremel tool. It was a snap-on 1/8 inch Dremel. So this old beat up Dremel here, that's all I use right there. I took it right on the high spot there, and I just laid it down in there, right down and inside the groove, and followed the line. Okay, follow the line. You just go through all of them, follow them in, and yeah, you can see I slipped with the hatchet a couple of times there, but it doesn't really affect the way it shifts. I was really amazed on how it glides together like butter. So anywho, so that's my video on that. So we get rid of the hocus pocus of there's no way this will fit. It will fit, but you got to have a little bit of creativity to make it work. And if you're, you know, if you're not up to the task, don't do it, because, you know, and basically if you can't do this, don't make it all-time four-wheel drive either, because it takes some modifications too. But for everybody out there that's, you know, don't mind picking up a Dremel and making something work and taking a chance, you know, go for it, because now, you know, it's now I have a slipper clutch to put in my full-time four-wheel drive. And, you know, if you're going to crawl with it, you probably wouldn't need a slipper clutch in this truck. But this truck was built for like an all-purpose crawling, somewhat, and bashing. And if you're going to make it full-time four-wheel drive and you go out and you start bashing with it, you know you're going to start losing teeth on these gears here. And because there's just a tremendous amount of strain on it. So I figured out a way to put the Tamiya slipper clutch in there. You know, like, share, subscribe if you want. Tell me your thoughts on it. And that's my video. So adios. Have a good one.